What's up, everyone? This is Scratch, and I've got a video review here for you. We are going to take a look at The Walking Dead by The Escapists. I guess it's by Team 17, but it's The Escapists, The Walking Dead, which is basically a mesh of two of my favorite things. The Escapists is a video game which is basically like a prison breakout game. It's a top-down, walk-around crafting game where you just figure out different ways to break out of increasingly difficult prisons. If you've not heard of this game or you don't know what I'm talking about, I do have a link in the description below that links to a playlist with achievement guides and gameplay videos and things like that, so you can see that. That's the original. This is a completely separate game. It is not DLC, but it's a completely separate game with a different take, but basically the same gameplay style and the same sort of objectives, not to necessarily escape prison, but to complete an objective in the level. So we're going to talk about all that in just a minute. If you're a Walking Dead fan and you don't know what The Walking Dead is, I'm sorry for your life because you live under a rock. If you've never seen it, however, that's okay. But you probably have heard about it, and you know that it's a zombie survival series, which started off as a comic and has become a popular hit TV show on AMC. If you haven't watched it, I definitely encourage binge watching this and starting over. It's definitely less about zombies and more about humanity. But now that you guys know each other, Escapist fans meet Walking Dead fans meet Escapist fans, and now the Escapist meets The Walking Dead. So we're going to talk about it in this review. Okay, so the first thing you're probably wondering is, like, how does this game play if you're supposed to escape from increasingly difficult prisons? Scratch, am I going to see a huge spoiler? I'm not all the way caught up or whatever, so don't worry about any of that. There are no spoilers here, with the exception of maybe location spoilers. If location of something is a spoiler to you, then okay, I guess there are spoilers here. But other than that, we're just going to talk about locations only. There's going to be no story, there's no plot, none of that, just the locations. And if you're caught up on the TV show or the comics to about issue, somebody shoot me if I'm wrong, but probably like 83, give or take, somewhere in there, I'm not really sure, you're going to know about these locations. So for those of you who are Walking Dead fans that far, fear not, we're not going to spoil anything for you. So, first of all, you're going to start off here in the Harrison Memorial Hospital, which this is where Rick first wakes up in the TV show and in the first comic. And that's going to be like your tutorial level. And then it follows along with the comic timeline, and here we go with the level spoilers. You've been warned. The next place you're going to end up is the Green Family Farm, and then the place after that is you go to the correctional facility, and then after that you go to Woodbury, and then after Woodbury you go to Alexandria, which is where the TV show is currently filming, and storyline is at in this particular area. So the difference is like, for example, the Harrison Memorial Hospital, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on in the comic and the TV show. In the Escapist version, however, all you do is wake up, you're in a zombie apocalypse, and you have to get out. And that's all there is to it. So you need to craft some items, you need to follow, a certain path. It's kind of like a maze, and the game just kind of walks you through basic tutorials of how to play the Escapist, which is crafting, thought, and then coming up with your own plan to escape the prison, where in this case is to get past a herd of walkers that's keeping you trapped inside the prison. And then that sort of gameplay style just kind of carries on into each one of the levels. So for example, you have to escape the farm, escape the farm, escape the correctional facility, escape Woodbury, and then escape Alexandria, because it is the Escapist. So as you know, like in the TV show and the movies, they don't actually have to escape these areas. They're different, but just in keeping with the Escapists, I guess they kind of do. So that's a little bit of a change, but it doesn't really change the storyline. What it does is it's basically just chronicling the shows or the characters moving on from those particular locations, and it does fill in a little bit of a story. So if you're not all the way caught up and you play this game first, you're basically going to be given the brief synopsis of what happens. You don't really know. It doesn't tell you, like, who died, who doesn't die, what happens, what relationships are formed. All of that stuff is left in the comics and left in the TV show. This is simply just we need to get out of this area, or we need to move on from this area, and that's what you're going to get if you play the game. So no worries about playing ahead if you're not caught up in the TV show. It actually would be a good way to get you caught up in the TV show, because it might show you, might give you kind of an idea of what's next, or give you a synopsis of what the group is going through. It would actually probably be beneficial to someone who's trying to catch up. So that's all I've got to say about that, I guess. We're going to move into achievements and collectibles and things like that. There are 4 comics in the first level, and then there are 5 comics in the subsequent 4 levels after that, for a total of 24 comics, I think. I might be wrong on that. I think it's 24 comics. But basically, these comics are just scattered throughout the areas, and you have to find them. The other achievements involve, Rick shooting so many zombies with a firearm, Rick killing so many zombies with, melee weapons, completing the levels, donning certain gear or finding certain gear, creating, because there is a big crafting element to the game, as you know. So creating everything, and there are lists online for these, and the achievements are not too hard to get. It's actually a pretty easy 1000 gamer score walkthrough, and or 1000 gamer score that you can get with a walkthrough, and you probably don't even really need a walkthrough, because a little bit of ingenuity and a little bit of exploring and paying attention to what's going on, you could probably find most of these comics on your own. You're probably just not going to do it as fast as you would with a guide, obviously. So with that being said, we'll talk about the gameplay. What are the differences between The Walking Dead and The Escapists? And basically, I know I've already kind of touched on this, you're not escaping, but some of the big differences are, you do still have the routine that you need to go. You still need to check in, you still need to go to breakfast, you still need to, you have jobs that you have to do around the areas that you're in. But some of the differences is when you have those jobs, because they are household chores, you do have people who are helping you at the jobs. Like if you have a laundry job, basically, for those of you who don't know, the laundry jobs are, you have to take a bin of dirty clothes, put them in a washer, then they wash, you take out the clean clothes, you put them in the bin of clean clothes, and you're timed on how long you can complete this, and then your threat level goes up whether or not you complete it or not. So you have to complete these tasks, and just like your police suspicion meter would go up in the Escapists, your zombie threat level goes up if you miss jobs and routines in The Walking Dead. And so what'll happen is zombies will start to spawn and overtake areas that should relatively be safe, and of course you can't have any of your other survivors die, so you'd have to go and save them or help them or equip them with good weapons and stuff, which is pretty cool. You can kind of outfit your survivors. You can sort of you can have people come with you, like if they like you. I know in the Escapists that was really hard to do. Like you really had to do a lot of jobs and chores and get someone to like you so they would follow you. In the Walking Dead version, pretty much anybody will follow you at any given point, and if they don't like you enough to follow you, it's super easy to do like maybe just one job and they'll all like you again or whatever. And a job is, what I mean by job is like a task, like go find me a piece of duct tape or whatever, because they still have all of that stuff in here as well. So the gameplay kind of goes along with that. Just the difference in the threat level, where zombies, it's almost like, imagine if you do your routines, you don't have any guards around, whereas if you miss the routines, more and more guards would show up and they become more and more aggressive. And that's pretty much it here. The difference is also the zombies versus a correctional officer, is the zombies are much slower than correctional officers, but they are, I think, a little bit stronger in some cases. I was in an area in the Escapist where I could level up my character enough. I could level up my character in strength and speed enough to pretty much just one hit all of the officers, whereas the zombies are still going to take a hit or two, even with a fully developed character, unless you have like a really amazing weapon that you've crafted or whatever. So a little bit different gameplay. There's a whole lot more zombies than there are correctional officers, and you start off with a whole lot more freedom, so you can pretty much explore the entire grounds You don't get caught like breaking through walls. You don't get caught stealing by zombies. So you know so that goes away as long as you just do your routines. It's really plays on the exploration side of things, which I find quite good, because it's not even anywhere near annoying or tedious to do that. So it's definitely pretty cool to have that for the gameplay. And I'm trying to think if there's any other big significant differences. I mean, those are some of the bigger ones, like just kind of how things play out. And then basically you're given, I guess for your objective, instead of the objective being to escape, you're given a light storyline based objective where you have to like just say, I'll just make one up just to explain it, that way there's no spoilers here. But let's just say you have to find like a bomb to blow up a bridge to stop a herd of zombies coming and overrunning and killing you. That's not in the story, that's just something I completely made up. But you'd have to find out where the bridge is, and then in order to get the bomb, the part might be locked in a building that has a red key, but in order to get the red key you've got to dig a tunnel into this building, and in order to dig a tunnel into this building you have to go over here and find this is where you get sheet metal to build a shovel so that you can dig, and it's basically just a cascade of little things that you have to do to ultimately get to the big ending or the big thing that they want you to do. So that's pretty much how each level goes, and it does play into the story a little bit, and then the storyline is sort of generically filled in between the levels, so it doesn't go into too much detail, doesn't go into any sort of character development or whatever. So like I said, pretty much spoiler free. If you're a fan of the game, or I'm sorry, a fan of the show or a fan of the comics, you're probably going to be a fan of the game. So I guess that's all I have. If you guys have any questions, I'd be more than happy to make some videos for this, or some walkthrough guides if you have any, if you need some help and can't find it, feel free to hit me up. I'm always available to make videos for you guys. If I know it's something that my subscribers want to see, I will definitely make it. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you check out the Escapists Walking Dead, and let me know what you think in the comments below. You can contact me on Xbox Live. My gamer tag is AKA Space Scratch. You can always shoot me a message there. Let me know what you think, and I might share your comments in upcoming videos. And I will catch you guys all in the next video. Thanks for watching.